and Nate Meikle from Lawrence, Kansas. As promised, Notre Dame postdoctoral researcher, former Cougar player and broadcaster, who is an assistant professor of management at Kansas, podcaster with Nickels and Dimes. Nate, what's up? We had you on a couple weeks ago. Now we're talking Notre Dame. We brought you back, bro.
Yeah, you came through on that promise, and I'm so excited. One, to talk BYU Notre Dame today, and then two, to fly out early Saturday morning to go watch that game in person. So can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. That's one of the greatest venues that exist in sports right now, which is pretty cool. So you'll enjoy Allegiant Stadium. Okay, let's talk about what Spencer and I were just talking about, which was comments yesterday from Notre Dame. Not unpredictable or unprecedented in two comments, one about a talent gap and another about age. Which one is more annoying when you hear it as a former player and broadcaster?
Well, the talent gap one is always kind of funny. It reminded me, right when I heard that comment, it reminded me of 2006 when we were playing Oregon, and it was Coach Bellotti that said, BYU, they're, middle of the Pac-10 conference in terms of talent. And we're like, okay, let's find out, right? Let's see. And so, we win 38-8, and of course the reporters did a good job and said, well, has your opinion changed? And what did he say? Do you remember, Jarom?
I don't remember. Said, we didn't want to be there. So I don't know.
He said, I stand by what I say. I think they're still in the middle of the road.
So you're the worst Pac-10 team then. Come on.
Right, exactly. It's always funny. It's so many of these guys. There's this whole, the recruiting world where people just care so much about stars. It's really easy for that to influence your thinking on everything. So yeah, if you just look at recruiting stars and that's your metric for who has the best talent, then you say, well, yeah, Notre Dame they have the most 4 and 5 stars, so they have the best talent. But that's not accurate. Now, it's one measure, sure. But another way to do that is, well, let's go position by position. And you can say, well, what's the most important position on the field? By far, the quarterback. Okay, who wins that battle? Well, BYU for sure. I'm taking Jaron Hall over Drew Pine all day, every day. And the stats back that up. So then we go to probably the next kind of most important positions, the lines, right? Offensive line. That's BYU's got a pretty dang good offensive line right now. Notre Dame does as well, but they really kind of struggled early on. You might give that edge to Notre Dame. You might give it to BYU. That's a tough one. So maybe we go D-line. Okay, Notre Dame's strength of their team is D-line. They've got a first-round guy, Isaiah Foskey, that's just a total stud. He's approaching Justin Tuck's all-time sack record at Notre Dame. So you probably give the edge to the Notre Dame D-line over the BYU D-line. Linebackers, I think they're pretty close. Secondary, I would say you're pretty close. BYU's got some studs. Notre Dame has an All-American safety that transferred from Northwestern, Joseph. He's a really good player, gets out of control sometimes and misses some tackles, gets out of position. If we want to go receivers, so this is really interesting about Notre Dame. They've lost like 5 or 6 scholarship receivers in the last 3 years to transferring out. And it has completely decimated their receiving core. They're basically left with one guy who's a good player. His name is Lorenzo Styles, number 4. He's a good wide receiver. He would play and he'd contribute at BYU. No other wide receiver for Notre Dame would play at BYU. They would not see the field. So I think, wide receiver, BYU definitely has the edge. Running back, probably give the edge to Notre Dame. They do have 3 really good running backs that are going to be difficult to stop. Tight end, Notre Dame has one of the best in the country, if not the best. BYU's got some NFL tight ends. So, that was a real quick analysis, a little more detailed than just the star analysis. But you can see this game is, I expect this game to be pretty close based on that analysis.
And that's interesting because, yes, if the only thing we really do to quantify talent is the stars, but we really don't follow up on that conversation while they're in college. And then I would argue, Nate, and I did in the opening segment, that BYU develops his players as good or better than almost anyone in the country, producing Zach Wilson from 3-star to 2nd pick, Dax Milne from walk-on to draft pick to starting punt returner and receiver in the NFL. Tyler Algier from no stars to starter now with Atlanta due to an injury and a 100-yard guy last week. BYU's ability to develop, to coach well, to scheme well, that's at the highest level in college football, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. And if you look at Notre Dame's receivers, so they still have a bunch of scholarship guys left on the team, and they're all four-star guys, but they're not that good, and they have not been developed. And so, like, what good does a four-star do you if you can't catch very well and you can't get open and you run your routes out of bounds and you get pushed out easily and you don't attack the ball? All of these things are what really win games. And it just reminds me a little bit of, some people, they just, their career is everything to them, right? It's like, you hear about these kind of neighborhoods in on the coast or New York or wherever, San Francisco, where it's all about going to the premier private schools so you can get into the Harvard or the Yale. And of course, those are great schools and great private schools, but it just becomes like the focus. Like, for some people, it's just all about that status of the school you go to and then the career you get. And that's a little bit like the star system. Some people just get so hung up on the star system and forget that there's more to winning football games and playing than just that star rating you got from a service from a time you were in high school.
This just in, by the way. Notre Dame defensive lineman Jacob Lacey has left the program, intends to enter the transfer portal. He had 2 sacks against Cal. So more to your point about some of that talent leaving. Okay, let's talk about this matchup as well. Can Jaron Hall beat Notre Dame? Because if BYU can run, and Notre Dame has allowed some yards in some games this year, obviously lost to Marshall. Cal almost got him. UNC scored some points there, but gave up a bunch. If BYU can't run the ball, and that's been a struggle the last couple of games at certain points, especially in the second quarter, can Jaron Hall throw BYU to win this game?
I mean, ideally you do both, but I think my short answer is yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can win the game without running on Notre Dame. Their linebackers, like I said, they're good. They're not great. And I say this, I've literally watched basically every Notre Dame football game for the last 4 years now. So I have a pretty good sense of like who their team is, and they have good linebackers. They're not great in coverage. Their secondary, they'll be starting true freshman Benjamin Morrison at corner. Now he's a good player. Obviously, you don't start as a true freshman at corner unless you are. But ideally, you're not starting a true freshman anywhere because you've got veterans ahead of them. So they've got, like I said, the All-American safety Brandon Joseph. He flies around. He's a good player, but he gets out of position. They've got coming into the season, they had what they thought was a lockdown corner, number 5, Cam Hart. And in basically every game this season, he's given up a huge touchdown by taking bad angles and being out of position. Jaron Hall is one of the best, most accurate quarterbacks in college football. I just think back to that Oregon game, and his stat line was awesome for playing, for the score turning out the way it was. Most of us would have been pretty happy with taking Jaron's stat line after the game. So now, obviously, BYU, if they are balanced, that's going to help them. It's going to be tough to run against the defense. Like I said, they've got that DN who is just he's incredible. He's looking at beating the all-time sack record. They've got this guy, Justin Adamalola, is really underrated, also probably an NFL guy. But the linebackers aren't great. They've got a guy that Maris Liufau, who's a freak, but he's out of position all the time. So they might be able to, BYU, I expect to be able to find some gaps there in the run defense. But BYU's got good receivers and tight ends, and I think Jaron could win this game for them just through the air.
And J.D. Bertrand's second half targeting appeal was denied, so he is out for the first half of this game. Gabe Judy-Lally
for the second game in a row, right? I mean, this is what for JD. This has happened 2 games in a row now where he's had a targeting penalty, and yeah, he's the leading tackler, and he's out.
If he gets a third one, it's a 1-game suspension. By the way, BYU's Gabe Judy-Lally, that appeal was accepted, so he is available in the first half of this game. Okay, where does BYU have an advantage besides Jaron Hall in this matchup, and how does BYU win this game?
Yeah, so receivers, I think they can throw the ball. I think that the receivers can make plays. Like I said, the BYU receivers are better than the Notre Dame receivers. The Notre Dame secondary is good. Notre Dame's defense has been their calling card for a long time now, and even more so than I realized. Going back to Manti Te'o, a few years ago, they also had another LDS kid that was a safety for him, Alohi Gilman, who's a stud. If the offensive line can hold their own against the Notre Dame defensive line, then I think BYU has a good chance. This defensive line, they're 12th in the country in sacks. Foskey is the guy that is just so disruptive, that's getting close to setting the all-time sack record. But if the offensive line, BYU's, which is full of NFL talent as well, can win that battle, then BYU is going to have a real good chance of winning. This Notre Dame team, who are you going to get? Are you going to get the team that lost to Marshall, or the team that beat North Carolina? Unfortunately, I will say that the unfortunate thing for BYU is one of the reasons Notre Dame has made big strides is because they got their offensive line coach back. In 2017, they had the best offensive line in the country, and then their O-line coach left for the Bears. And the O-line has gotten progressively worse every year since then. But Marcus Freeman just hired him back this year, and they are improving as the season goes on. So I will say the other advantage I think Notre Dame has is in the secondary. I don't expect Notre Dame receivers to do much. It's all going to come down offensively for Notre Dame. It's just about whether they can run the ball with their 3 running backs and their stud tight end. But if you can limit the backs and limit the tight end, Notre Dame's going to have a real difficult time throwing the ball downfield.
Michael Mayer, honestly, he might be the best player the BYU plays all year at any position. Like, he is tremendous at tight end, perhaps the first guy off the board. When it's 3rd down and 6, and Mayer's clearly going to be the number 1 target, how does BYU defend him?
Yeah, so I mean, he is phenomenal. At 265 pounds, he's the best route running tight end I've ever seen in college. I mean, what will happen is he'll catch a little 5-yard out, 10-yard out, and you won't think anything of it. And then you'll watch the replay and you'll say, wow, that was a really good route. And teams are doubling him, and he's still making plays. But he's gonna make a few catches. He's already set Notre Dame records for most catches, yards, and touchdowns in a season. He did that last year. So he's gonna make some plays. He's gonna have 5 to 10 catches. But it's not like he's catching the ball for 60, 70, 80 yards in a single play, like he'll pick up some key first downs. So if I'm BYU, like, I'm going to limit those. We're going to double him, knowing that the receivers are going to have a real hard time beating us. So yeah, we'll double him and then just try to control their 3 backs. They've got Chris Tyree, real fast guy, one of the fastest guys in college football. He's little. They've got a bowling ball Estime, and then they got another guy, Diggs. That's good all around. But keep Michael Mayer to 5 to 7 catches. He picks up a couple first downs, fine. Limit the running backs a little bit, and you got a real good chance to hold Notre Dame to 14, 17 points, and you go win the game.
BYU's not giving it away. Notre Dame's not taking it away. That'll be an interesting thing to watch as well. Well, Nate, we appreciate the time. Thanks for the insight. And enjoy College Game Day in Lawrence, bro, for undefeated and ranked Kansas.
I know there's so much energy here in town. I went to a game last year. There were like 5,000 people. And this week they've already sold it out. 3rd straight sellout, 47,000 people. So much excitement. Jalen Daniels is the real deal. I'll be in Vegas. Now, obviously I wouldn't trade Vegas for, College Game Day. I am bummed I'm going to miss it. It's going to be tough to beat TCU this week. They're pretty dang good. They beat Oklahoma by 31. But yeah, tons of energy here in Lawrence this week.
Nate, we appreciate the time. Enjoy Vegas, man.
Hey, great. Thanks, Jarom.
Catch Nate Meikle on Mickles and Dimes, his podcast. Had Bronco Mendenhall on recently. So there you go.